If you have been on X for the past couple days, there's no doubt you have seen this art style in some capacity. Even the official White House X account got involved in this. So what is there to talk about, right? A lot of people are having fun with this art style, including myself, to be honest. I think it's pretty great. But a lot of people are furious, man. A lot of people are not happy. So what is going on? Well, people are using chatgpt or some other sort of AI like grok to transform historic pictures or even just personal pics, whatever they want, turning them into this art style, which is a Studio Ghibli art style for anime. And I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. I looked it up. So Studio Ghibli is a Japanese animation studio, and they have a very cool, I'm assuming unique, I'm not a huge anime guy, but from the reactions on X, I'm assuming this is a unique art style that they created. So what's the big deal? Well, a lot of people think that using AI to generate what takes artists hours, days, maybe months to make is cheap and straight up copywriting. And there's a difference. There's the copyright issue, which is more big picture and not so much of what people are upset about. To be honest, I'm reading what people are upset about, and it's mostly just the fact that, like I said, this is a cheap way to do this, and you aren't actually appreciating the work that goes into creating actual art like this, because you can simply just have an AI do it, and you can disregard the hard work and effort that it truly must take to create, a stunning visual like this. And to that, I do agree, but I also don't see the problem in just enjoying it and having fun with it. But we're here to see what X thinks. Here we have a post that absolutely blew up, and it's a picture of a group of friends. The original photo, which is probably taken on an iPhone, but it's turned into 3 different art styles. The tweet says, "Art just became accessible." Someone quote tweets this saying, "Fitness just became accessible," and it's just a skinny guy wearing a muscle suit. And the point is, what I take from this at least, is the author is saying that just because it looks like you have muscles doesn't mean you're actually fit. And although truly I think it's a bad comparison, I do get his point. He is saying that just because you can generate something that looks like art does not mean it is actually art. Now, I completely disagree. Let's look at these 4 pics again real quick. If you did not know that these were generated with AI, and you were told that a person recreated this one photo into these 3 art styles, you'd think they look pretty damn great, because they truly do look amazing. And it's amazing where we are with this technology. The point is, art in this form, drawing, animations, etc., it's all visual. So although you can really appreciate the effort someone puts into making a piece of visual art, the end product is what really matters, depending on the situation. As far as monetary value, yes, the art that is made by a human is going to be worth more because it took a lot more effort. But just as something to look at, something to enjoy, I think it's the same. Moving on, this person says, "OpenAI has stolen Studio Ghibli's artwork, and these morons are cheering and clapping for it as if this crap has actually achieved anything. They're literally advertising a plagiarism program that hasn't compensated nor sought permission from Studio Ghibli. Fuck these people." A person responds with, "Please rewrite this post using original letters and words that have not already been used by other people before." And the author claps back saying, "That has to be the dumbest shit comparison I've ever seen. Look up plagiarism, you clown. Bye." And another person responds to the original post with a Google search where he asks, "Can you copyright an art style?" And his picture is the answer he found saying, "No, you cannot." And see, that's kind of my thought too. It is an art style. The same way even a movie director like Zack Snyder has his own distinct style. Does that mean no one can use that style? Of course not. If anything, you could hark back to a very cliche saying, imitation is the highest form of flattery, which is very true in this case. No one would be doing this, and this would not be trending if it weren't an absolute beautiful art style. Which leads to this tweet, where the author quotes a picture of a couple using this art style on themselves, and he says, "The whole Studio Ghibli AI trend honestly gives me secondhand embarrassment knowing how hard Hayao Miyazaki, who is the founder of Studio Ghibli, has fought to retain the identity of his films, and how many of you are willing to make a farce out of decades of artistry because you don't actually value it." A person responds, "Can you describe the exact harm that's being done by this example? Be specific. Anyone losing money? Anything else? Or is this purely emotional?" The original author responds saying, "If Studio Ghibli has not licensed the usage of their intellectual property to train ChatGPT, which they haven't, then this is continually plagiarizing their work without any compensation from OpenAI. Would you like it if I stole your designs and never paid you a royalty?" His question at the end does hold merit. I see his point, and it's just a tricky situation. Did he steal his designs? To be honest, I don't think so. I think that he and everyone else is simply using his style. But his designs would be the characters, the original characters, I might add, he makes using that style. Now, does that fine print kind of reading in between the lines, nitpicking sort of argument hold true? Again, man, it's tricky. Ethically, it's tricky because legally, I cannot see where OpenAI or anyone using this would be at fault. Again, ethically, it would kind of suck. Just trying to put myself in the shoes of the animators, but at the same time, it's like you have all these people admiring and adapting something you created. Moving on, this person, Lauren Walsh, says, if you use AI, you are intellectually and mentally lazy. That's all. You are lazy. AI makes art free. No, AI robs you of learning how to do something. In learning how to do something, you develop your voice. You are asking AI to speak for you because you are too lazy to face yourself. A person responds with, quote, if you use Wikipedia, you are too lazy to learn everything from textbooks, end quote. And another quote, if you learn to read and write, you are too lazy to learn everything by heart, end quote. Lauren responds, man, you really thought you cooked here, huh? The person responds, I didn't just come up with these. Any new technology that makes things simpler is getting criticized for making people lazy. But the invention of synthesizers didn't stop people from learning to play violin, and the new AI models won't stop people from learning to draw. Now, I think they both make valid points. And Lauren, the author of the post's point, yes, learning how to do something, you do develop your own voice, as she says, and maybe give it your own take, and you end up with something fresh. You are missing out on a lot if you skip the learning process. But to the person that replied's point, this kind of reminds me of the calculator, where I'm sure there were discussions just like this when the calculator was invented. And at that point, you did not necessarily have to learn how to do math to be able to solve equations, because you could just plug them into a calculator. It's been years now, and people still know how to do math because it has other purposes than just trying to do your homework, right? She says it makes you intellectually lazy. So let's break it down like this. Are we talking about everyday people just taking advantage of this technology, and having fun with it? Or are we talking about aspiring artists using AI? Because I think that the everyday person is really just having fun with this, and I think that this could be used as a tool for artists rather than a shortcut. I mean, using a tool is kind of a shortcut, but it's to enhance the end product and to tighten it up. I think this technology will actually be useful for animators because of something like this. They say it took 1 year and 3 months to make this 4-second animation, which was probably exhausting. And using AI could have saved a lot of time in this case, obviously. So to close this out, again, I think it's a very tricky situation. I'm not an artist, so I don't have that much emotion or bias to this. And I think that the artists have a right to be upset. The thing is, for one, I see this as nothing but a trend, and we will all just be moving on with our lives very soon, if not already. But two, we're talking about a technology that will be implemented in every aspect of our everyday lives. Do not get it twisted. This is happening. Not one of us can stop it. It will be for the better, and it will for sure as hell be for the worst. I mean, the tech industry has been talking about this for years now. We're moving into uncharted territory, and honestly, a fascinating and terrifying point in time. But hey, I'ma just keep making videos and see what happens, man. I will be back when there's something else to talk about. Peace.